I'm really now kind of feeling it. I'm not going to be good to go anywhere further.
The biggest mistake new pilgrims make in their first week on the Camino is walking too far, too fast, not taking enough breaks, and not listening to their bodies. I know, because I did it. I pushed on with a sore shin, which by the time I got to Burgos on the Camino Frances had become tendonitis, forcing me to rest for 3 days and wear this lovely fetching sock. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get injured like I did. What I'm saying is you need to listen to your body and go at your own pace. Now, if you're struggling to keep up with your Camino family, maybe swap numbers and just find out what town or albergue they're going to stop in. If they're really fast, then ask them to reserve you a bed. And if your backpack is too heavy, maybe consider sending it on for a day or two and give your back and your legs a rest. The good news is within a week or so, you'll get your Camino legs and feel much, much stronger. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It can be comforting to have reservations and know where you'll be staying. On my first Camino, I didn't know what to expect and I was nervous. So I booked all of our accommodation before we got there. But I soon found out that wasn't the best idea. On the first day, the distance was so short that we got to the albergue by 11 a.m. But we booked, so we had to stay there. And on the second day, the distance was way too far, but we had to keep pushing on because again, we booked. The beauty of the Camino is that you meet people and build a Camino family as you walk. So you want flexibility to be able to change your plans. You want to be able to sit in a cafe or bar and ask, where are you walking to tomorrow? Cool, I'll see you there. Or to be able to change your plans when you hear of an amazing albergue recommendation. My advice, resist the urge to book everything before you get there. You'll have a much richer, enjoyable Camino experience if you do. I'd say book the first couple of nights and then see what comes up. Or maybe if you're feeling really brave, you can walk into a town or village and see what beds are available in the albergues. Or you can use one of the many helpful apps or websites to find somewhere you like. Then simply reserve a bed the night before. The urge to pack everything you think you'll need for the entire trip will be strong. But resist that urge because the heavier your pack, the more weight you have on your back and the more potential for discomfort and injury. This was me on my first Camino and my bag weighed an absolute ton. I packed 2 pairs of walking boots, enough socks to open my own sock shop and an iPad, which I never even used. You are not walking through a third world country. You can purchase everything you need in the bigger towns and cities you walk through. Overpacking is such a common mistake, and it can be really freeing to travel with less stuff because you realize how little you need to feel good and have a great time. My tip, before you go, look at all your clothes and gear and ask yourself, do I need this? Is there a lighter version? Be ruthless. Now, this mistake may sound obvious, but you'll be surprised how many pilgrims get shiny new boots, a backpack and gear and don't properly test it before they arrive. Before you go on the Camino, you really want to test out all of your gear. Walk with your backpack, your socks, your shoes, all of it. Now, I know this might sound like over planning and not very spontaneous, but my answer to that is, say if you have an issue, it is much easier to sort that gear here than it is when you're on the Camino. The Camino can be tough enough at times, without having to worry if your gear will rub and cause you discomfort. When you're out on the Camino, walking day after day, you want to know your gear and clothing isn't making it tougher. My advice? Do some practice walks over a weekend with the gear you'll be wearing with weight on your back. Get used to it. Then you can see what works and whatever doesn't, well, you can try and change it. The different types of accommodation found on the Camino can be quite confusing, like what's an albergue? What's the difference between a municipal albergue and a donativo, or a casa rural and a parador? Well, never fear, because in this video I list the different types of accommodation found on the Camino de Santiago, and I've thrown in some recommendations too.